He's a local attorney and a former police officer and firefighter who now wants to represent Mount Pleasant Town Council. In this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups, I speak exclusively with Kevin Cunnane one-on-one. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores.
Well, Kevin, it is so good to see you, man.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So here we sit in your location here in Mount Pleasant, and I went back to your Facebook page on September 26th, and you wrote the following headline after the Mount Moutrie News headline, that is, and you said this: engage and qualified. And this is right after the Moutrie News headline that says, Kevin Cunnane formally announces council run. Obviously, you're running for Mount Pleasant Town Council. Tell me, how engaged are you in this process, and what are your qualifications in your mind?
Well, as far as engagement, I have been at just about every single council meeting for coming up on 3 years now. So, and I'm the type of person that shows up early and stays till the end.
Right.
And sometimes that's paid dividends, because when the room is empty, sometimes things come up that people are interested in, and maybe they left already. So.
And let me take you to the actual headline, article that is from Moutrie News. It says this: local attorney and retired firefighter Kevin Cunnane announces his run for Mount Pleasant Town Council, focusing on public safety, quality of life, and shaping a more citizen-focused town government. Describe to me that. Public safety in one word.
Public safety, in terms of a local government, it's their number one responsibility. They're responsible for not only our police protection, but our fire protection. Also, they have a big impact upon evacuations.
Right.
In the event we have a natural disaster that requires us to empty out the town.
Quality of life.
Quality of life is something that I enjoy in Mount Pleasant greatly. That's why I brought my family down, to get a better quality of life. We got that quality of life, but I also know that you have to protect it. So things like traffic piling up every day and short-sightedness that doesn't address the obvious ahead of time can really impact quality of life.
Citizen-focused town government.
Citizen-focused town government, that's kind of my tagline in terms of my experience being at the council.
Right.
I've met people from all across the town who are frustrated with their dealings with the town. So people who come up, whether it's like a common issue is drainage issues.
Oh, yes.
If there's an older home at whatever elevation, there's new regulations and the new home is raised up and the older areas are getting flooded out. That actually happened to me in the newer home as well. There was construction next door and it flooded out my yard a little bit. And that kind of was one of the beginning phases of me getting involved.
Okay.
And I noticed that's everywhere across the town. So I think the town should be doing a better job at anticipating these things, because they know the elevations are going to be raised. So when they look at the plans, they should be addressing the water before it gets in somebody's yard and ruins their quality of life.
You talk about quality of life, and you talk about moving your family down here. You have a very interesting past life. And this is what documented in the Moutrie News. It says this: Kevin Cunnane served as both a police officer and firefighter in the city of New York. He responded to the World Trade Center attack, the crash of Flight 587, and deployed with the FDNY to New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. In addition, Cunnane worked with a team of local firefighters in the Charleston area that deployed to New York to assist with recovery from Superstorm Sandy. This is a simplistic question, but when you think of New York, what sticks out to you?
The diversity of the city really is something that you see when you work there. You see every side of the city, and it's a great city for people from all over the world. You know, it's a very congested place and busy place too. So that, I think that's why you see so many retirees coming down to kind of decompress a little bit down in a nicer environment, less stressful.
Yeah, absolutely. 16 years later, after the tragedy of the 9/11 attacks, where are you still emotionally?
Oh, well, it can be rough every September. We have great networks of people. We have a group down here, which I was instrumental in forming up to about 45 men and women that are from police and fire roles up in the New York area. All of us have some connections to the 9/11 attacks. So that's how we've always handled it as firefighters. We stick together.
Yeah. You talk about the drainage issue in Mount Pleasant. Let me take you to North Mount Pleasant. When you think of Mount Pleasant, that is, what plays in your mind?
Sorry?
When you think of North Mount Pleasant, what plays in your mind? What sticks out to you?
Well, it's a great place to live. There's a lot of homes. I think that the plans that went in maybe 30 years ago, they gave us some parkland and a fire station with the land. The developers built that into the plans.
Okay.
And I don't think the town realized that once it's built out, they might need a little bit more town involvement. They kind of left it to the developers to see what happens. And I think now we're seeing what happens. It's maybe a little more traffic than they anticipated.
Who's running this town? The developers or Mount Pleasant Town Council?
Well, I think, look, the free market runs whether things are gonna be built. There was a time when 2008, 2009, that era, there was nothing built. The town couldn't do anything about it. It was just the way the economy was.
Right.
Now the economy's better now, and there's people still coming. There's people that still want to build. And I don't think the town necessarily gets to control that. The town does get to control through their comprehensive plan,
Right.
the direction of things and the zoning of land and things like that. But it's not a completely controlled by the town issue. And that's a misnomer that's out there.
Wow. And you know, as you know, on social media, people are talking about that comprehensive plan a lot. What should the plan look like in your mind?
Well, I think we need a town that's livable with great quality of life. And we've had that in the past in Mount Pleasant. I think the people that are from Mount Pleasant originally look and say that the town's missed something along the way. Being it's a 10-year plan, really have to get the best and brightest minds looking at it, come up as a community with a game plan. And it's not for me to dictate a plan, it's for the community. And then on the council, we're going to implement the plan that comes out of that comprehensive planning commission forum.
Let me fast forward to October 26th, that is, and that's the day after I moderate the House District 99 debate. But you have your own candidate forum, and it's obviously going to be hosted by the League of Women Voters in Mount Pleasant Chamber of Commerce. What is that first thing that you want to tell the voters?
Well, it's what we started with, that I'm engaged and I'm experienced. As far as a town citizen, I've been to those meetings, I've watched and seen, and I've shared that frustration with the town and how town government conducts its business. The making things more transparent is something that I'm very interested in, making things easier to understand, facilitating people to participate. You know, the town hall, I live in Dunes West, the town hall is quite a distance from there.
Yes.
So there's plenty of working people and moms and people that would love to engage, but it's just not feasible. So I think when there's a big issue going on relating to a different part of town,
Right.
we should move the meeting closer. And planning stuff probably shouldn't be happening in the middle of the day. You know, we should make sure that the citizens are able to participate. So that's on the engaged side. On the experience side, I've worked as a police officer and firefighter. I've also worked as an attorney defending municipal agencies in litigation. That's a big issue for the town. It's not going away. And naturally, I'm not going to share strategies that wouldn't make any sense. But I do offer a background in having handled litigation against government agencies. So I think that's a unique skill set that could be put to good use for the citizens.
And obviously, you were at a recent mayoral forum, I believe, at Friendship AME Church.
Yes, sir.
And I'm wondering this, who's better fit to lead the town of Mount Pleasant now? Will it be Linda Page or Will Haney in your mind?
I'm supporting Will Haney.
Okay.
I think Linda Page has done a good job and done the best she can, and I think it's time to move on to a different leadership style. So, and I think that's probably likely to happen.
And when you look at Mount Pleasant 20 years from now, what should it look like in your mind? Or what will it look like?
Mount Pleasant in 20 years, I don't think there'll be anything left to build on, most likely the way we're heading. I'm hoping that we have a good mix of residential and usable commercial close by. I don't want to see 100% houses where we get rid of all potential commercial future, because I look at that as a future. I have 3 young girls. I would like to see businesses that are decent employers and come into the town. How to do that is part of, again, back to that comprehensive plan. We have to make sure that we don't convert usable commercial land that could create jobs and encourage entrepreneurship and just make it housing.
You talk about housing. What is your well, not even that, but when you think of apartment moratorium, what sticks out to you?
The apartment moratorium, they passed one this year and it is, I guess you could say it's useless because there's 4,500 or 5,500 apartments in the pipeline already. So they passed the moratorium to slow it down, but it's already, it's like a snowball rolling downhill, you know? It's happening, they're already approved. So I think that was a feel-good measure. I don't think it was really effective.
Would single-member districts be effective in your mind?
That all depends on what it looks like in the end. I mean, one of the first things I said when that issue was raised was, you'd have to show me the districts before I could say, is this better? And the district's gonna be determined up in Columbia and by the Justice Department, most
Right.
likely. So, it's a tough question, and what I will say is the people that tried to get it this year, they failed on their petition by the numbers, they didn't get it. But it's admirable that they went out and spent the time to engage in their government. That's something I like. I like to see citizen involvement, and I will support the ability to bring that up again, and I will give it a fair hearing. I'm not gonna say I'm for or against until I see exactly what the proposal is.
Okay. Well, Kevin Cunnane, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.